Hey, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to your ultimate destination for all things Dallas Cowboys. From the latest news, game analyses, rumors, to deep dives into player performances and strategies, we've got you covered. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a play. Let's dive into everything you need to know about America's team. The buzz around the league right now feels different, almost electric, because when people inside the Dallas Cowboys universe start whispering about a name like Brian Burns, it changes the temperature of every conversation. This is not being treated as a simple roster tweak or a depth move. This is the kind of rumor that makes fans stop scrolling and lean closer to the screen. The idea of Dallas securing a defender with Burns' profile instantly sparks visions of dominance, pressure, and fear spreading across opposing offensive lines. In this speculative narrative, the Cowboys are not just adding talent. They are allegedly reshaping the identity of their defense. Burns is seen as a centerpiece, a player around whom a scheme bends and evolves, someone whose presence alone forces coordinators to rethink protections and play calling. For Dallas, a franchise obsessed with relevance and legacy, this rumor feels symbolic. It suggests ambition, impatience with mediocrity, and a desire to strike while the window is open. When people talk about Burns potentially wearing that star on his helmet, they imagine speed screaming off the edge, long arms disrupting timing, and quarterbacks feeling footsteps even on clean drops. This is the type of speculation that feeds highlight fantasies before they even exist. Cowboys fans are not asking if this would help. They are asking how devastating it could become if it actually happens. Because in theory, it sounds like total defensive control waiting to be unleashed. What makes this rumor even more intoxicating is how perfectly Brian Burns seems to fit into the current Dallas narrative. The Cowboys' defense has been searching for that next evolution, that final piece that takes them from dangerous to overwhelming, and Burns represents that leap in imagination. He is viewed as a tone setter, someone who does not just rack up pressures, but changes the emotional flow of a game. In speculative conversations, people imagine Dallas lining him up in creative ways, moving him around, isolating him against mismatches, and letting his athleticism dictate chaos. The idea is not just sacks, but hurried throws, broken plays, and a ripple effect that makes everyone else on the defense better. Linebackers play faster when the quarterback has no time. Defensive backs take more chances when routes cannot fully develop. Burns, in this rumor-driven vision, becomes the engine that powers all of that. There's also the psychological aspect that fans keep circling back to. When an offense knows that every snap could be compromised by one defender, it changes preparation all week. For Dallas, long criticized for falling short in defining moments, the thought of having a player like Burns leading the charge feels like a statement of intent. It says the Cowboys are done waiting and ready to impose their will defensively. Another layer to this speculation is the leadership angle, which often gets overlooked in pure highlight talk. Brian Burns is imagined not only as a physical presence, but as a vocal, energetic leader who brings edge and confidence into the locker room. Dallas has plenty of star power, but every dominant defense needs someone who sets standards and demands accountability. In this rumored scenario, Burns becomes that voice, the player who expects greatness and pushes teammates to match his intensity. Fans talk about how his work ethic and demeanor could influence younger defenders, accelerating their development simply by example. There is a belief that his arrival would signal a shift from potential to expectation. No longer would flashes of brilliance be enough. Consistency would be the mandate. This speculation paints Burns as someone who thrives under the bright lights, who feeds off pressure rather than shrinking from it. For a franchise like Dallas, where scrutiny is relentless, that quality matters. The rumor suggests that the front office understands this and is targeting not just talent but mentality. If Burns were truly secured, even hypothetically, it would reflect a calculated move toward building a defense that can handle the weight of expectations and deliver intimidation every time it steps onto the field. The strategic implications of this rumored move are what really get analysts and fans talking late into the night. Adding Brian Burns to Dallas is imagined as a chess move that unlocks endless possibilities. Defensive coordinators love versatility, and Burns is often described in speculative tones as a nightmare because he can rush from different angles, drop into coverage when needed, and still threaten the pocket with explosive speed. In Dallas, that versatility would supposedly allow more aggressive play calling, more disguised looks, and more freedom to attack. The rumor fuels dreams of a defense that dictates terms rather than reacts. Opponents would be forced to adjust protections, slide help, and keep extra bodies into block, which then opens space elsewhere. It becomes a domino effect, one elite edge presence altering the entire structure of opposing offenses. Cowboys fans imagine watching games where pressure arrives so quickly that even elite quarterbacks look uncomfortable. This is why the rumor resonates so strongly. It is not about one player's stat line. It is about control. Control of tempo, control of field position, control of confidence. In this speculative future, Dallas is not hoping for mistakes from opponents. They are creating them through relentless, calculated pressure led by Burns. There is also a broader league-wide reaction embedded in this rumor that adds to its weight. The idea of Dallas securing Brian Burns sends shockwaves because it would signal that the Cowboys are serious about matching firepower with firepower in a league obsessed with offense. Other teams would take notice, not just because of Burns' talent, but because of what his presence represents. It would suggest Dallas is willing to be aggressive, to invest heavily in defense, and to challenge the narrative that championships are won only through high-scoring shootouts. In speculative conversations, fans imagine rival teams adjusting their plans, knowing that facing Dallas now comes with an added layer of difficulty. Burns becomes a measuring stick, a standard against which offensive lines test themselves. The rumor feeds into the mythology of the Cowboys as a franchise that thrives on bold moves and big personalities. Even skeptics admit that if this scenario unfolds, it would instantly elevate Dallas into conversations about the most feared defenses in the league. That fear factor is something money cannot easily buy, but Burns' rumored arrival suggests Dallas is chasing exactly that. As the speculation continues to grow, what stands out most is how naturally Brian Burns fits into the story Dallas wants to tell about itself. This is a franchise desperate to turn potential into dominance, promise into production. The rumor frames Burns as the catalyst, the spark that ignites a defense already loaded with talent, but searching for a defining edge. Fans imagine the swagger returning, the confidence visible in every snap, the sense that Dallas is no longer reacting to the league, but shaping it. Even without confirmation, the idea alone energizes the fan base. It gives people something to believe in, something to argue about, something to dream on. That is the power of a rumor like this. It is not just about whether Brian Burns ends up in Dallas. It is about what his presence would symbolize, a commitment to domination, a refusal to settle, and a belief that defense can once again be the heart of a championship vision. In that imagined future, the Cowboys are not chasing respect. They are demanding it. Part 2 of this speculative story dives even deeper into the emotional side of what Brian Burns could represent for the Dallas Cowboys, because rumors like this are never just about XS and OS. They are about identity, perception, and momentum. For years, Dallas has lived under the microscope, praised for talent, but questioned for toughness when it matters most. The idea of Burns leading the defense feels like an answer to those doubts. In fan-driven narratives, he becomes the embodiment of aggression, someone who plays angry, fast, and with purpose. This rumor paints a picture of a defense that feeds off his energy, where every stop feels personal and every snap carries intention. Supporters imagine a shift in how opponents talk about Dallas, from flashy to feared. That kind of transformation does not happen quietly. It starts with one bold move, one defining addition, and Burns fits that role perfectly in this speculative framework. Even before any snap is played, his rumored presence alone seems to change the tone of the conversation around the Cowboys, making it less about what could go wrong and more about what might finally go right. The psychological impact on opposing offenses is another angle that fans love to explore in this rumor-driven discussion. Quarterbacks, in particular, are imagined losing sleep over the thought of Burns lining up across from them in a Cowboys uniform. Edge rushers of his caliber force quicker decisions, shorter progressions, and a constant sense of urgency. In this speculative scenario, Dallas uses that to its advantage, building game plans that thrive on confusion and hesitation. Burns is seen as the chess piece that forces the opponent to reveal their intentions early. Once that happens, the rest of the defense can pounce. Fans talk about how even a single dominant pass rusher can tilt the field, but someone like Burns could flip it entirely. The rumors suggest Dallas understands this and is chasing not just production, but influence. Influence over how games are played, how offenses prepare, and how confident opponents feel stepping onto the field. That level of impact is rare, and that is why the idea of Burns in Dallas feels so significant in speculative circles. Another compelling layer of this rumor is how it aligns with the Cowboys' long-standing desire to build a defense that can travel anywhere and impose itself. In imagined scenarios, Burns becomes the anchor of a unit that does not rely on favorable conditions or perfect game flow. He represents reliability, a constant source of pressure regardless of circumstance. Fans envision moments where the defense needs a spark, a stop, or a shift in momentum, and Burns delivers through sheer force of will and athleticism. This speculation frames him as a closer, someone who thrives when the stakes are highest. For Dallas, a team often haunted by missed opportunities, that narrative is incredibly appealing. It suggests a future where defensive confidence is not fragile, where adversity is met with aggression rather than hesitation. The rumor implies that Burns is not just another star, but a solution to a lingering psychological hurdle. If true, his presence would symbolize a new chapter, one where Dallas trusts its defense to set the tone instead of hoping the offense can outscore mistakes. The conversation also turns toward legacy, because every major move Dallas makes is filtered through that lens. The rumor of Brian Burns joining the Cowboys instantly sparks comparisons to legendary defenders of the past, players who defined eras and left lasting impressions. Fans are careful not to crown him prematurely, but the excitement is rooted in the possibility that Burns could be the next name in that lineage. In speculative storytelling, he is imagined carving out his own chapter, known for relentless pursuit and game-changing moments. This is where the rumor transcends practicality and enters mythology. Dallas is a franchise built on larger-than-life figures, and Burns fits the archetype of someone who could thrive in that environment. The idea of him embracing the spotlight, feeding off the energy, and delivering under pressure resonates deeply. Even skeptics admit that if the Cowboys are serious about shaping their future narrative, targeting a player like Burns makes sense. It is not just about winning games. It is about defining how those wins feel and how they are remembered. As this rumor continues to circulate, the ripple effects extend beyond the defense itself. In speculative terms, Burns' presence would free up the offense to play with more patience, knowing the defense can hold its ground and create opportunities. That balance is something Dallas has chased for a long time. Fans imagine a team that does not panic, that trusts its identity, and that understands when and how to strike. Burns becomes the symbol of that trust on the defensive side. The rumor suggests a holistic vision, where every phase of the team complements the other. This is why the idea refuses to fade. It feels logical, ambitious, and aligned with what Dallas wants to be. Even without confirmation, the speculation itself creates momentum, fueling belief and anticipation. It keeps the conversation alive, evolving with every new angle and interpretation. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In the end, what makes this rumor so powerful is not certainty, but possibility. The idea of the Dallas Cowboys guaranteeing Brian Burns as the leader of their defense captures imagination because it promises transformation. It suggests dominance instead of doubt, aggression instead of caution, and confidence instead of questions. Whether it ever materializes or not, the speculation has already done its job by reminding fans what the Cowboys aspire to be. In this imagined future, Burns is not just a player, but a statement, a declaration that Dallas intends to control games through defense and impose its will on the league. That vision is intoxicating, and as long as the rumor exists, it will continue to fuel debate, excitement, and hope. For a franchise built on dreams as much as results, that alone makes the story worth telling. There is also a business side to the rumor, where whispers suggest Dallas views Hunt as a smart allocation of resources in a league obsessed with offensive stars. The chatter implies the Cowboys believe defensive versatility is undervalued compared to offensive flash, and that Hunt represents an opportunity to exploit that imbalance. By securing a player who can impact multiple phases of the game, Dallas could gain efficiency across the roster. This strategic thinking adds another layer to the speculation, framing the move as savvy rather than reckless. Fans who enjoy front office chess matches find this angle especially compelling. It suggests Dallas is learning, adapting, and evolving its approach. Hunt, in this narrative, is not just a linebacker, but a case study in smarter team building. As the rumor continues to circulate, it takes on a life of its own, fueled by hope, debate, and imagination. Whether or not Jalix Hunt ever puts on a Cowboys uniform, the speculation itself reveals a hunger within the fan base for defensive identity and leadership. Hunt has become a vessel for those desires, a projection of what people want Dallas to be. That is the power of rumor in sports. How a single name can carry so many expectations. For now, all of this lives in the realm of possibility, but the story feels unfinished. And as long as it remains unresolved, it will continue to spark conversations, videos, and debates, keeping the idea alive that one bold move could change everything. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.